Good morning and God bless you. My name is Fred Garnes. Welcome to God Before Coffee. What I'm going to be talking about today has been marinating in my spirit for a while, and I feel some kind of way about it. About 3 or 4 years ago, my spiritual father, Apostle S.A. Duke, spoke to me about the law of honor. And one of the things he said that stuck with me, one of the many things, was that honor and showing honor can take you farther in 5 minutes and 10 years of work. The law of honor. So let's start here. What is honor? By definition, honor is high respect or great esteem. It's also a verb, to fulfill an obligation or keep an agreement. To honor an agreement. To honor a person. To adhere to what is right or a conventional standard of behavior. The honorable way to go about something. The proper way to go about something. The proper way to treat someone. So we're going to talk about honor today. I want to encourage you to be careful how you treat people. And I believe in this country, sadly, there are a lot of misconceptions and an underdeveloped understanding of what honor is. I think that we simplify honor in this country and we attach it to certain professions. We attach it to the battlefield. We attach it to a flag. We attach it to certain professions that we deem more important or we hold in more esteem than other professions. Honor extends beyond the battlefield. Honor extends beyond symbols. Sometimes we honor a symbol more than we honor the people that are under the symbol. There are a lot of disconnects and a lot of things. So it's okay to dishonor people because they don't honor what you honor. But I believe that our displaced honor and our misunderstanding of honor is because we're not taught honor in our society. I believe there is more rebellion in our society than there is honor. Honor is key in our walk of life. Showing honor, showing respect. And today we're going to look at what God has to say about honor. Firstly, honor God. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. You shall love the Lord your God, or honor God, with all your heart, showing honor, all your soul, and all your strength. In 1 Samuel chapter 2, verse 30, it says, those who honor me, I shall honor. Speaking of God. Those who honor God, he shall honor. Those who prioritize God, he will prioritize. And it says, those who dishonor me shall be lightly esteemed. So, honor God. Secondly, it says, honor your mother and father. Honor your mother and father. And I'm going to say here, it doesn't say agree with your mother and father. It doesn't say that maybe there was a disconnect. Maybe there was an offense. Maybe you didn't agree with everything that mom and dad did. But the thing is, honor opens doors, it closes doors. It opens destinies, it closes destinies. Dishonor is very, very dangerous. And I am certain of the fact that the lack of honor, or people showing honor when honor is due, has closed doors to their lives, closed doors in their destinies, closed doors of opportunity that otherwise would have helped take people where they were supposed to go because of the lack of honor. And the lack of honor, of course, is dishonor. Dishonor. It says, honor your mother and father. And this instruction has a promise attached to it, or a result. And that result is long life. Honor your mother and father, that your days may be long on this earth. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them. It doesn't mean you have to like everything. But it means you are supposed to honor them. And in honoring them, it will lengthen your life. And it's interesting to me that this is where honor is taught. Behaviors are learned. And I believe that many of us weren't taught honor at the base level, at the first structure of authority that we were put in. And that first structure was a family structure. And as families are fractured so badly in this nation, those rudimentary teachings, those building blocks that you can build the rest of your life in, the framework of how you walk, how you treat people, how you operate, and the law of honor wasn't taught to most of us. To most of us. Honor is key. So if you can't honor the smallest authority, the closest authority to you, as you move through your life, it is less likely that you're going to show honor to other authority figures if the primary authority figures in your life don't command honor from you or don't receive honor from you. Well, I don't care what they say, I'm going to do this. And that's great. That's disobedience. It's also dishonor. And then as you move to school, well, teacher said I'm going to do whatever I want because I'm my own person. And that's dishonor. And then the next authority figure comes along. And maybe it's a police officer. Maybe it could be anyone that has authority over you, or that's in a position that should be honored by you, but because they're above you and you didn't learn how to honor who was over you initially, then it goes to maybe politics. Any direction you want to go, and someone that's in an authority figure, an authority position, well, I don't care. When there was a king over a kingdom, nobody asked the subject whether they liked what the king was doing. And if you dishonored a king, it affected your life radically and maybe ended your life. Other places in the world have different kinds of hierarchies, different kinds of structure that are built, and here in America, we disregard a lot of that, and arrogantly we believe that we are better, or our system is better, instead of just different. The strengths lie and weaknesses lie in different places. In Japan, dishonor motivated many people to end their own lives because they couldn't deal with the dishonor of living in a situation like that, or of defeat. Different cultures esteem people differently, watch their word differently, their actions differently. Dishonor in this culture is evident as I see people across the street, how they dress. People dishonor themselves. They dishonor people around them. And honestly, it's celebrated. And I do not believe that walking in dishonor, acting in dishonor, and dishonoring everyone around you, from the highest office to the lowest, or anyone in between, is serving anyone in this culture. Dishonor is rampant in this country, and it's celebrated. And we use honor and the word honor in specific instances, and we're flagrant with dishonor every other place, or many, many, many other places. Honor goes past the flag, goes past the battlefield, it goes past athletics. Honor is deeper than that. And dishonor, as closing destinies and closing doors, even observed or implied dishonor, can shift your life and can put a hold on your destiny and stop it. We're always being observed. Sometimes implied dishonor is just as dangerous as showing dishonor to an individual or to an entity. I know there are people that are watching. People are watching. Maybe they see your stance and the dishonor you show. Or maybe they see the honor that you do show. That can either open doors for you, or it can close doors for you. To dishonor an individual, you might be dishonoring the person that can elevate you, that can open a door for you, that can take you to the next level, and you might not even know it because you do not recognize them. But they see you. And as you act honorably, they'll be more inclined to open a door for you, to elevate you, to lift you up, to encourage you, to edify you. But if you show dishonor, maybe not even to them, and they see dishonorable words, they see dishonorable actions, maybe they see dishonorable Facebook posts. I know factually that there are people that do dishonorable things, speak dishonorable things, use social media in dishonorable ways. That's observed. And there are repercussions for that sometimes. People that have lost jobs, people that have not received jobs, people that have not gotten opportunities that otherwise they would have gotten, but they were dishonorable. Honor is key. Being honorable. It says honor God. Honor mom and dad if you want to live a long time. Doesn't mean you have to agree with it. Doesn't mean you have to like them. I didn't always like my parents, but I did not dishonor them. Because I knew. I don't want to die young because I'm dishonorable to my parents. It's very, very clear. And it's repeated twice. Ephesians 6:2, Deuteronomy 5:6. It's not cryptic. God has very specific things to say about honor. Honor God, honor your parents. The third one, honor authority. Romans chapter 13, verse 2. We don't like authority in this country. We don't. Our country was birthed in rebellion. But there comes a time when we have to look and see. We say one nation under God. And then we look at God's principles, and we're like, oh, we don't like those. We like our founding fathers' principles. And that's great. How's that working out? Honor God. Honoring God means obeying God. It means paying attention to His Word. So are we quoting God's Word? Or are we quoting the founding fathers? What's more important? Who do you esteem more? God or the founding fathers? Who do you agree with more? God or the founding fathers? I choose to believe what God says and obey what God says. And this is what God says about authority. Romans 13 says here, submit to government. It doesn't say submit to government that you agree with. It says submit to government. It says, let every soul be subject to the governing authorities. It doesn't mean that I agree with everything that's going on in the government. This has nothing to do with that. This is me agreeing with what God says. I'm telling you what God says about government and authority and honoring authority. It says, let every soul be subject to the governing authorities. Every soul. There is no authority except from God, and the authorities that exist are appointed by God. Therefore, whoever resists authority resists the ordinance of God. That is not cryptic. It is not confusing. We might not like it, but it doesn't matter. This is what God says. And those who resist will bring judgment on themselves. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to evil. You want to be unafraid of the authority? Do what is good, and you will have praise from the same. For he is God's minister to you for good. But if you do evil, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is God's minister, an avenger to execute wrath on him who practices evil. Therefore you must be subject not only because of wrath, but also for conscience sake. For because of this you also pay taxes, for they are God's ministers, attending continually to this very thing. Render therefore to all their due. Taxes to whom taxes are due, custom to whom customs, fear to whom fear, honor to whom honor. Honor authority. Honor authority. All authority comes from God. And we don't necessarily always understand why, but authority comes from God. Daniel served 3 kings as a servant. They weren't all sugar and spice. A lot of them weren't nice people. But he honored the king, and the kings elevated him. And I will say this. They made him a eunuch at a young age. And over decades, he proved his worth, and he showed honor, and he was elevated in the kingdom. Elevated and revered in the kingdom because he understood where he was, who he was, and who authority was, the fact that God placed that authority there, and he was honorable. He was honorable. And because of that, he was elevated. He was elevated. Dishonor is almost celebrated here. I don't agree with that, so I'm going to say dishonorable things. Okay, that's great. This is what God says about it. And Daniel had every reason to not like those men, but he did not dishonor them. He did not dishonor kings. Watch how you treat people, how you speak about people, what you agree with. Honor is very, very, very important. It says, honor the king. This is, you know what? I'm going to go to 1 Peter 2, 13 and 14 real quick. And it says here in the first book of Peter, chapter 2, verse 13, therefore submit yourself to every ordinance of man for the Lord's sake, whether to the king as supreme, or to governors, or to those sent by him for the punishment of evildoers and for the praise of those who do good. For this is the will of God. And here it is, that by doing good you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men, as free, yet not using liberty as a cloak for vice, but as bondservants of God. So it says you're serving God when you serve the king. This is the will, it says, this is the will of God, that by doing good you may put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. Verse 17 kind of wraps some of it up. It says, honor all people. All people. It speaks directly to how you deal with people that are around you. Honorably. Honorably. Keeping your word. Esteeming people. Being respectful. All people. Not just people that look like you. Not just people you agree with. Well, I don't like what they do. That's great. You're not going to like everything that everybody does. It doesn't mean you have to agree with them, but don't treat people with dishonor. Don't treat people with dishonor. Honor all people. Love the brotherhood. Love your brother. Fear God. Honor the king. Honor the king. Numbers chapter 30, verse 2, talks about honoring your word. Don't break your word. Do what you say you're going to do. I believe in Psalms 15, it has to do with, it speaks to honorable business practices. I forgot about that one. No, I didn't. I remembered. I remembered about that one. I got to watch my own words. I didn't remember. I didn't forget. I remembered. That's why I'm talking about it. It says here in Psalms 15, this whole chapter is about the character of those who may dwell with the Lord. I'm just going to read this chapter. I was supposed to. It says, Lord, who may abide in your tabernacle, who may dwell in your holy hill? He who walks uprightly and works righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart, who does not backbite with his tongue, nor does evil to his neighbor, nor did he take up a reproach against his friend. It's honorable. I'm going to read this. There's a punctuation. Nor does he take up reproach against a friend in whose eyes a vile person is despised. But he honors those who fear the Lord. He says here, he who swears to his own hurt and does not change. That speaks directly to honoring your word. Oops, I shouldn't have said that. You know what? But you did. Honor it. That's what it says here in God's word. That's one of the reasons you have to watch your words. My word is my bond, is it? It's supposed to be. Think before you speak. But when you speak, it matters. Honor your word. Who does not put out his money at usury, nor does he take a bribe against the innocent. He who does these things shall never be moved. Honorable people shall never be moved. Honor. Honor. Don't break your word. In 1 Peter 2:17, it says pretty much blanket, honor everyone. Honor all people. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. Honor the king. I'm not trying to castigate people. I'm trying to make people aware of what God says about honor versus what we say or think honor is in this country. It's more than flags and soldiers. God says we're supposed to honor all people. Honor the king. Honor authority. Honor your mother and father. Doesn't say agree with your mother and father. It doesn't say agree with the government. It doesn't say agree with all people. It says honor. Honor your word. Honor God with your substance and your first fruits. Honoring God. Honoring mankind. Honoring authority. Honor is important. And honor and showing honor and being consistent in it can open doors in your life you could not possibly imagine. It can elevate you. It can open doors for you and give you opportunities that years and years and years of work could not accomplish. But dishonor can close those doors you don't even know are there. And sometimes dishonor of the wrong person cannot be erased. Disrespecting the wrong person cannot be erased. Breaking your word cannot be erased. Sometimes the repercussions in your life, in your destiny, you don't want them. You don't want them. Observed dishonor. People are watching, especially now. How do you walk? How do you speak? Even down to self-presentation. There are people that dishonor themselves just in the way that they carry themselves, in the way that they walk, in the way that they cross the street, in the way that they dress, in the way that they do everything. Because they're just in outright rebellion. Very difficult to promote a person like that. That's in perpetual rebellion, in perpetual dishonor, in perpetual disagreement. It's tough. It's tough. If you're dishonoring everything around you, there's no way you're going to honor me. If you're dishonoring God, dishonoring every entity that is over you and around you, there's a lot of doors that are going to be closed to you. And a lot you're never going to be aware of. Just be aware of that. Be aware of that. Well, there's the solution. And that solution is in 2 Timothy 2:20, and I'm going to turn there. My thumbs are fighting with the paper here. And we are there. Okay. And it says here, but in a great house, there are not only vessels of gold and silver, but also of wood and clay, some for honor, some for dishonor. Now it says here in verse 21, therefore, if anyone cleanses himself from dishonor, he will be a vessel for honor. So you can recenter yourself and be more honorable and show honor and walk in honor, speak honorably. He will be a vessel. If he cleanses himself from the latter or from dishonor, he will be a vessel for honor, or a vessel used honorably, a vessel for honorable use. And it says here, sanctified and useful for the master, or set apart and useful for the master. So it's up to you whether you want to continue in dishonor or use dishonor. But I want to be set apart to be used by the master of the house, prepared for every good work. So I encourage you today just to walk in wisdom. Don't close doors to your destiny through dishonor. Honor God, honor authority, be honorable today. Be honorable today. So I hope that this blessed you. I know the study of it blessed me and opened my eyes to some things, and some of it has been marinating in my spirit for quite a while. So I thank you for allowing me to release it. So God bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you and give you peace. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.